All right, well, hello everybody. We're going to get started this evening. We're going to be flying the Zibo 737. This is the updated Z2 version of the aircraft. We're going to be doing a flight today from St. Louis down to Dallas, Fort Worth. We are going to be flying American Airlines. I'll get you a shot of the outside of the aircraft here real quick. We're sitting at the gate here in St. Louis. I don't have any good St. Louis scenery per se yet. We're really looking at the scenery that we've recently installed from Forkboy, trying to cover the entire United States. And since we're flying to DFW, it's obviously an American Airlines hub. We're going to fly an American today instead of the usual Southwest. I don't know what runway we're taking yet. I haven't even looked at SimBrief. We're going to jump inside and get things going here and start getting everything ready to fly. All right, we're going to connect the ground power unit. We're going to set the chocks. We'll go ahead and get the fuel load started here. Pull up SimBrief. And SimBrief is saying we need 17.1 on the fuel today. And we're going to need a payload of 41.7. So pretty full, actually, which is good. That'll make it for a better flight. So we're going to go ahead, master power on, ground power on, emergency lights come on, seatbelt sight come on, chimes can go to auto. Come up top, we'll start aligning the IRS. And we will go ahead and get the electrical pumps on so that the first officer can go outside and start the pre-flight. Corrupted nav data, and that's something that happened with the Zibo apparently with the latest update to 1901 on your Navigraph charts. I've flown once today just to test things out because I'd seen it had been a problem for some others, and it does not seem to be giving us any issues with the actual nav data. I'm not sure if it's a Zibo issue or not, but things have been working just fine, so we're going to let it roll for now until we see it creating a new problem. Alright, so let's go ahead and drop in there KSTL for St. Louis. Grab the left GPS, we'll plug that in there to the IRS. We're going from St. Louis to DFW. Couldn't find the W. And it looks like we're going to be departing 30 left. We'll go ahead and plug that in, but I'm going to go ahead and find the ATIS for St. Louis here real quick, and we're going to tune into them just to make sure that is correct. Project Fly is up and running. Actually, you know what? I was going to fly an FS Cloud tonight, so we're going to go ahead and we'll connect to the cloud in case anybody is wanting to fly out there. Give that a second to boot up. Alright, so FS Cloud is running. In case anybody's going to be joining us on the flight. Alright, looks like the ATIS for St. Louis is 125025. So we'll come down here, we'll grab it real quick. 125025. And we are just going to make sure that we can use the runways we want.
1900 Zulu weather. Wind 270 at 6. Visibility more than 10. Sky clear.
We can. Right there, 30 left. Perfect.
-2.
Alright.
Altimeter 2983.
So we'll probably take off with right around 17 on that, give or take. Grab the zero fuel weight. Reserves is going to be 4 today.
Advise on initial contact you have
Cost index of 23. Cruise today is going to be flight level 340. Very easy for us to get up to 340. The winds are 327 at 45. So we'll go ahead and plug that in.
St. Louis Lambert.
And the deviation is -1 today, so a little cool. Not horrible though, a little bit below freezing. Just above freezing here, so that'll work okay. We will derate the aircraft just a little bit. Checking runway 30 left, it's 11,000 feet. We don't need to worry about running out of runway anytime soon on that one. Do a flaps 5. 4.9 on the trim, so we'll go ahead and drop that almost a 5 there. Looks good. Alright, come down, and the departure winds look like they're going to be... Where's my winds? There they are. 270 at 7.
St. Louis Lambert INTL information uniform.
So we'll drop that in, and
1900
they are
Zulu weather.
showing dry right now.
Wind
Looking
270
outside,
at
everything was
6.
dry. There wasn't any rain.
Visibility more than
So
10.
V1 will be 141,
Sky
VR
clear.
will be 142,
Temperature 4.
V2 will be
Dew point -2.
149. Go ahead and
Altimeter
set the departure here. We're
2983.
going 30 left. We're going to be
Arriving
doing the
runways
Johnny
30 left.
5
29.
departure.
Departing runways
Johnny
30 left.
5 with the
29.
map transition. Excellent.
Advise on initial contact.
Go down to
you
the
have
route.
uniform.
That ends at map. We're going to go map straight to FSM, Foxtrot Sierra Mike. And that's direct. We're going to go direct from there to Coma, Komma.
St. Louis Lambert INTL
From
information
Coma,
uniform.
we will begin the
1900
arrival.
Zulu weather.
Looks
Wind
right now
270
like we're
at
going to be
6.
landing
Visibility
17
more than
right
10.
when we get into
Sky
DFW.
clear.
It's
Temperature
going to
4.
be the
Dew point -2.
Bird
Altimeter 2983.
JE3.
Arriving
Bird
runways
JE3
30
right there
right.
with
29.
the
Departing
RR
runways
net.
30 left. 29.
I did
Advise
not
on
see an
initial
RR net.
contact.
Oh,
You
there
have
it is.
uniform.
RR net with nets. Let me pull up those charts. We'll look to see if we need to be using nets on the arrival here.
St. Louis Lambert INTL information uniform.
Birdie 3 RNAV, very good.
1900 Zulu weather.
With ILS
Wind
17
270 at 6.
right.
Visibility more than 10. Sky clear. Temperature 4.
17
Dew
right,
point
very
-2.
good. Let's take a look at the charts
Altimeter
now.
2983. Arriving runways 30
All right.
right. 29. Departing runways 30 left. 29. Advise on initial contact.
Nets.
You have
Let's
uniform.
find nets on the charts here. Give you a look here.
St. Louis Lambert INTL information uniform. 1900 Zulu.
So we're looking for nets here on the transitions to see if we need to use nets.
Sky clear. Temperature
Looks like we
4.
will go ahead and
Dew
use
point
nets on
-2.
this one. It's at the top
Altimeter
of the
2983.
approach when we
Arriving
get out here,
runways
and then we're going to have to
30
double
right.
check our
29.
flight plan
Departing runways
because
30
this
left. 29.
Bird J3,
Advise on initial contact. You have uniform.
we're doing the RR net, and so we need it to end somewhere down here. May end at Stones, then we'll cut across. We will use nets, and then we'll just double check everything. So
St. Louis Lambert INTL
get you back over here.
1900 Zulu weather. Wind 270.
All right, so route,
Visibility
activate,
more than 10.
execute.
Sky clear.
Go to legs real quick. We're just going to
Temperature
first check for any
4. Dew point
discons. There's one right there after Coma.
Altimeter 2983.
Kona did take us to the R net, so we'll
Arriving
drop
runways
that there.
30
Good.
right. 29.
RR net. So here we
Departing
go.
runways 30
RR
left.
net
29. Advise on initial contact.
has us
You
going
have
from
uniform.
RR net to Pleasy. Very good. Then Chamilli. Good. Jesset. Tulsley. Seaver. Okay. Seaver, we go to
Louis Lambert INTL information
Birdie
uniform.
J. Perfect.
1900 Zulu
Then it's got us going Covey,
Wind 270 at 6. Visibility more
Lyman,
than 10.
Lyman,
Sky clear.
Pithy,
Temperature 4.
Stones,
Point
good.
-2. Altimeter 2983.
Then Rocks,
Arriving
Jekyll.
runways 30 right.
We are not
29.
going to go all the way to
Departing
Rocks and
runways
Jekyll.
30
So what I'm going to do, I'm going to switch this to planning mode, show you what I
Advise
saw
on
here.
initial contact. You have
So we'll
uniform.
watch here as we go through everything. I'm going to set the altimeter and turn that off. What's the altimeter right now? 2983. Let's go ahead and get that set, and then we're going to get rid of that so we're not talking over the ATIS for the next 20 minutes while we set this up. Okay, so as we step through the flight plan, there's our departure. We're flying all the way down. Here becomes the start of the arrival here at RRNet. And then we get down here, and we actually can cut a few things off because we're going to hit back up here for that nets. Is back up here just off the radar. So what we're going to do, I'll zoom out just a little bit, and we're going to figure out which point we can probably turn off at. And it looks like we can do, what is that, Covey or Coffee or something like that? Covey. So from Covey, we're going to go direct to nets after the Covey. So I'm going to bring that all the way back up. That looks much better. So we'll come down, make the turn. At Covey, over to nets, and then we should be on the approach to 17 right. Very good. Looks much, much better. Let's go ahead and take that out of planning mode, back into map mode, and let's start letting everybody get on the plane so we can go. So we'll let that board for a couple seconds here. We're going to go ahead and set up our altitude and things like that while we're waiting. Flight level is 340 today, so we'll get that over to 340. That's a little too far, isn't it? I wasn't paying attention. There's 340. Come up top. We'll go ahead and set the pressure to 340 as well. And the altitude at DFW for the pressurization is 607. So we'll set that right at 600. 7 feet won't make much of a difference there. Okay. Everything else looks okay. Go ahead and get the yaw damper turned on. We will go ahead and get the aft pump turned on, and we will turn on the APU. You only need the aft pump going because the aft fuel tank is where the APU gets its fuel from. So everything's set. People are on board, so we'll go ahead and set that to steady. And we'll wait for the APU to start up. While we're doing that, we'll go ahead and take a look at our position at the airport and set up better pushback. Taking 30 right, so we're going to need to go tail to the right today. Not a very far taxi down to 30 left. It's 30 left, not right. I apologize. So tail to the right, we'll have them push us all the way out here onto the taxiway. Right about there should be fine.
Ground to cockpit, plan acknowledged. Call me through the menu when you are ready.
Alright, go ahead and come and get us, and we will just wait till we're actually ready to start the pushback.
Ground to cockpit, tow is driving up.
Excellent, thank you. See if taking off from 30 left, we may or may not get a good shot of the arch. We'll just kind of have to wait and see how things go. APU is available. Let's go ahead and get switched over to the APU power. Come up top, we'll go ahead and get the bleed on, and we'll go ahead and let air start flowing. It is a little cool outside, so we'll get the heat going inside the aircraft. Since it's so cold, we will go ahead and start kicking on the window heat. That way we don't have a foggy window. APU is getting plenty of power there. Everything looks good. Come back down to the tab. We'll go ahead and have them disconnect all the ground services. So remove the chocks and disconnect the GPU. Everything looks good there. Go ahead and make our announcement. Welcome everybody on board.
Ladies and gentlemen, okay, all doors and hatches are closed, ready to connect.
Anticipate possibly some light bumps or some choppy airs.
Get the flight detector right side, left side turned on.
Keep our flight attendants seated for a few minutes. Make sure we know.
The V2 was at 149, so we'll say 170 on our indicated airspeed on the departure here.
If everyone would remain in their seats during that time. Thanks for being
Good.
with us today.
Okay, let's go ahead and button up the aircraft. And since we're getting ready for pushback, we'll go ahead and get all the other fuel pumps turned on. And we'll go ahead and get the probe heats cycled. Some very professional people here at American Airlines. Clearly we don't mess around.
Inserted. Release parking brake.
Not quite ready to release parking brake yet. We'll go ahead and turn on TARA. We're not going to bother with the actual squawk code here. We'll leave it with 2000. We're not flying on any Pilot Edge, VAT Sim, anything like that. We're not running World Traffic 3, so there's no other real aircraft to worry about. So we'll just let everything sit the way they are. We will go ahead and set the auto brakes to RTO. And we will arm the throttles once we get the engines going. Just going to do one last quick check of my sim brief, make sure I feel good about it where everything's sitting. And we will get on our way here momentarily. Alright, everything's looking good. We're going to go ahead and kill the parking brake, and let's get this show on the road.
Pushback, and you may start engines.
Thank you, sir. Once we get going, get some tunes going here. We'll do that when we get to about 10,000 feet or so. We'll see. Depends on how quick we can put it over on autopilot. See how rough the departure is. Zibo has been giving people some grief, so we'll have to monitor that. It hasn't been wanting to fly properly. I don't know exactly what that problem is, but apparently a lot of people are having these issues, so hopefully Mr. Zibo will have a fix for that very soon. Okay, let's go ahead and get the packs turned off, let the air pressure build back in, getting ready for the engine start. We'll just let that push a little bit further. We did get the aircraft pretty warm, not warm, but comfortable for the passengers. Continue to push back here. We're actually going down to the end of the runway right here, so a very, very short taxi. We'll get our cabin crew ready to go pretty quick for this departure. Hopefully they're making all their safety announcements as we go. Alright, let's go ahead and fire up engine number 2, put that over to ground, and watch this spin up here. N2 is rising. Spinning up nicely. There's 25, introduce the fuel. Look at that, we've max loaded our fuel tanks. Looks like we're a little unbalanced there. I'm going to go ahead and throw it on the crossfeed, just because we are burning off that left aft tank, so it's just a little bit lower than the other. So we'll let that balance out for just a minute. It probably will actually be balanced by the time we get to the end of the taxi here. Alright, good start on engine number 2. Cutoff for the starter has occurred. And we will go over to ground on number 1.
Operation complete. Set parking brake.
We'll set that real quick. Jump back to watch that spin up.
Disconnecting tow. Stand by.
Alright, probably getting pretty close. Come over here. 24%, right in time. 25, introduce fuel. And we'll finish watching that engine start up.
This aircraft has escape path lighting to the gun. Red lights or an exit sign will indicate you have reached an exit. In an emergency evacuation,
Go ahead and disconnect.
carry on back.
Alright, should have a good startup by now there. Not quite yet. There's the cutoff on starter number 1. Shows good cutout. Go ahead and go over to continuous for those in preparation for our departure. We'll switch over to the power on the engines. Go ahead and open the packs back up. Turn off the APU bleed, and the APU can come off.
We'll see you next time, and have a great
Gen 1's
flight.
at 54.4. Gen 2 is the same. Everything's looking good there. Thank you, sir. We'll see you. Have a good one. Look for the pin there momentarily. Go ahead and have set flaps 5. Here comes the slats and flaps. We'll watch that. Good. Everything's looking correct. Excellent. Do an alert and recall. Everything's good there. The flaps are transitioning down. Double check up here. There's our green. Flaps are extended. Looks good. Oh, there he is standing there with the pin. Excellent. He should be departing there momentarily. Yep, there he goes. He's back in the seat. Ready to go. Speaking of ready to go, let's go ahead and check our flight controls. Full left, full right, full forward, full back, right rudder, left rudder. Looks good. Ladies and gentlemen, I think we're ready for our departure here. Go ahead and we will kill the parking brake, give it a little bit of gas, and start rolling. While we're rolling, we'll go ahead and set the auto throttle to arm. Get the VNAV and LNAV ready. Taxi light can come on. That crossfeed balance. Yep, it's already balanced. That's good. So we'll go ahead and close that crossfeed valve. Knew that wouldn't take long. There wasn't that much difference. We didn't run the APU for too long. When we ride this taxiway out all the way to the end here, well, not the end. There's a little pad at the end. We're not going to go to that pad. But we'll ride it out here to the end of the runway. Make a left turn, and that will be 30 left, which is our departure runway for today. Hope everybody had a good New Year. I think I've done one flight since the New Year. So this is only our second flight for the new year this year. We'll post the video on YouTube later, along with Twitch. I am working on getting a camera set up so that everybody can admire my ugly mug as we're flying. It's coming. I'm doing the research on exactly what parts I need for the camera I have. So once we do that, we will be having that. It should be a lot of fun. What else are we working on? We're going to try the music tonight, make sure everything's working there. We got some alerts set up. Not sure if they're working. Tried to run some tests. It didn't work quite right, so I don't know if the notifications are working when I get a follow or subscription or anything like that. Or a donation. I don't know if any of that's working. We'll see. Getting 60 frames per second. Good. No drop frames. It's good. Slowing down a little bit of an uphill. Get a little more gas as we taxi. While that's going, I will go ahead and get the music set up. That way it's ready to go once we get up. Alright, so that should be ready in a second. Actually, I don't know if that's the right one. Let me go back to the home here. This is the one I want. Nope, not yet though. Wait a minute. We are not in the air. I'll be making the next left turn onto taxi Golf, and that will be the end of the runway there. It's the very next left. Definitely a hill here. Let's give this bad boy a little juice. You gotta climb this thing. It really does not want to climb this hill. At least we know that'll make it an easy roll down the hill to get moving, won't we? Alright, much better. I don't care if it really slows down much here. Alright, and this says something about the ILS hold here? No. No, there it is. Okay. Weather's clear anyway, so it shouldn't be an issue. We'll pull right up to the runway here. Man, that hill is steep. Look at how much we slowed down. Unreal. Alright. Alright. We are ready to go. Let's go ahead and get the lights on. And we'll notify the crew. Get the strobes turned on.
Okay, the cabin is secured. Have a good flight.
We're ready to go. Brakes off. Let's get rolling again and get out here on the runway. Again, no other planes in the air or anything like that, so we won't have to stop and hold on the runway. We will just roll out. All right, here we go. We're on the runway. 40%. We'll be moving with this slope. Look at this slope. That's unreal. Stabilized. Toga. A little downward pressure on the yoke. Airspeed's alive. Oh, don't blow me around too much. There we go.
80 knots.
Cross check. Let up on the yoke. Giving it some right rudder here to stay in the center.
V1, rotate.
Rotating.
Positive rate.
Gear up. Pitch up to about 15. Good.
.400.
Checked. It's actually a pretty quick climb out of St. Louis. We had to be above 1120 there. We've got to be above 25 here in 3 miles. Go ahead and let that nose drop a little bit so we continue to accelerate out. Still hand flying. There goes the climb mode. Good. Go ahead and raise the flaps to 2. I'm really curious to see how good this scenery looks. I just loaded it, haven't really flown on it. Flaps to 1. Clean them up. Landing gear can come off. RTO can come off, and we will go ahead and give control to the aircraft. We'll go ahead and bring the not those, the retractables. Can come in, not off yet. Taxi light can come off, and the engines can go back over to auto. Let's take a look outside. We are running the newest X-Plane 11 11.3 beta. That's the new particle effects you're seeing there. I think they overdo it a little bit. I think it's being overdone just a little bit. We shouldn't have had that much vapor coming off the wing right there. I don't know if it's using the weather data to do that, to make those decisions. We'll see. As we continue to fly, we'll see how that looks. So I'm not sure if my Midwest scenery did get loaded. It does look like it's there. This looks like ortho. This does not look like the generic nonsense we usually get. Maybe a couple patches here and there. Maybe. It looks good. Enjoy some wing views for a couple minutes. Alright, right now we're looking at about an hour and a half flight here today. Nice interior here on American. Beautiful aircraft. Gotta love their interiors. Okay, we'll go ahead and set our weather radar on. Looks pretty clear for the flight. Couple patchy spots of rain as we get down towards Oklahoma and into Texas. We'll see how that goes as we get closer. Come up on 9,000 feet. Get the tunes going here in just a second. We're going to scan everything, make sure everything looks good. Our auto brake is set to off. Flaps are up. Landing gear is off and locked. Lights are still on like they should be for where we are. And the lights over there are set properly as well. Good. Now the lure display can come off. We don't need that right now, so we'll go ahead and click her off. Alright, here comes 10,000 feet. There it is. So we'll go ahead and turn the seatbelt signs off, and we will get the landing lights turned off. And we'll go back to enjoying the views. The aircraft continues to climb out. A little bit loud. Turn that down just a little bit. Right about there seems good. You guys let me know if you think it's too loud, too quiet, if you can or can't hear the music, just so that I know. Since that's new, something I have just started, I need to know in the settings if that's a good volume or not. So if you just joined us, we just departed St. Louis. St. Louis is rapidly disappearing behind us as we head south towards Dallas-Fort Worth International. Testing out the newest Zibo, the Z2, on X-Plane 11, 11.3 beta. With new ortho that I just installed in the last, 4 days, 3 days, something like that. Got a brand new hard drive to store all our data, so we're kind of looking to make sure everything's working properly.
We have shifted during takeoff.
It's a little loud behind the wing, I think. Have to play with some settings there, get some stuff turned down, I think, on that view. I think it's just a little much. But you tell me. On my end, it seems a little loud. Should have crossed over 18,000. We did. Let's go ahead and set standard pressure. Everything's still looking good. Engine's performing properly. We're still at full climb power. Has cooled off quite a bit outside, as expected. Check the winds here in a minute just to see what the winds are going to be like during our flight. Alright. Looks like we're going to have... Once we get to the southern end of Missouri, down by Springfield, we'll be going from this tailwind, which it doesn't even look like we should be having, to a headwind. Quasi-headwind. Let's see what this looks like higher up. If you don't know, you can always go to windy.com. Windy.com is a great source. It actually has a sliding bar where you can adjust your altitude that you want to see the winds at from the surface all the way up to flight level 450. Obviously, in a 737, we're never going to be that high, but it's nice that it's there in case you ever decided to get up there. So we'll check it at 340. We actually may keep this kind of cross tailwind most of the way till we start descending. When we descend, the winds definitely are shifting on us. And they start to do some funky stuff. So the landing could be interesting. Currently at Dallas, the winds are coming from the southwest. Let me see what DFW actually says real quick. Quite a ways off, but I'd like to see what it says anyway. Currently, visibility is 10 miles. Ceiling's at 12,000. Temperature's at 4, dew point 1. Altimeter's 3003. Winds are currently variable at 3 knots. Oh, no. Here we go. 11 minutes ago. Winds were 220 at 7. 220 at 7. So we'll see if any of that changes as we get close. Should be an enjoyable flight, though. Top of climb's coming up in about 32 miles. Go ahead and go back outside. Get some nice side views. Enjoy the ortho over the southern Missouri forests and small towns here. just a quick update on the map. We're about halfway through Missouri. Looks like we're going to cross just to the south of Springfield, which is the capital. We're then going to basically cross right over Fayetteville, Arkansas, just north of Fort Smith, and then from there we'll be continuing all the way down into Dallas. I'll have to look at the exact course of the approach to know where we'll pass. But that looks like the flight plan for now. And again, the weather still looks pretty good. There is some rain showing over western Arkansas and eastern Oklahoma, but I haven't looked to see what the clouds are going to look like there. I don't know if we're going to pick up clouds. It does look like we're starting to get a little haze out in front of us, a little layer there. I do need to update one of the Lua scripts I've been running. It's been updated for 3.0. I have not updated the script itself yet, so that's something I do need to get a hold of and get worked on. Alright, we've reached our cruise. We'll go ahead and notify everybody about the cruise and that we've leveled off.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. So we're leveled to our initial cruise altitude, expecting a fairly smooth ride today. We have the seatbelt sign turned off, and while you're seated, we do ask that you keep your seatbelt fastened about you at all times in case we encounter unexpected bumpy air. And we do thank you for flying with us on American.
Excellent. We will go ahead and kill that seatbelt sign for them. Just going to jump back into windy real quick. Look if we're going to be picking up clouds during our route here. I'm sure we are, if there's these little scattered showers here and there. No. Must just be some ground clutter, or maybe some light wispy clouds. There is no cloud cover between us and Dallas. We are okay all the way. So that's good. We'll be able to enjoy the ortho. Should be a good time. So we'll just let the tunes continue to roll. Face this way just in case we catch a glimpse of Springfield off to our side. I think I said it was going to be off to the right. Yeah, it's off to the right. Probably Springfield out in this mess over here. We'll do a quick cabin tour. I haven't done one on one of these American Airlines aircraft yet. Let's go see what the airplane looks like. Oops. Helps if you open the door, doesn't it? Oh, somebody left a Coke on the counter. Shouldn't be doing that. Here's the first class section, or business class probably, of this aircraft. Nice little seats there. Here's the main cabin for all the folks that can't afford an arm and a leg when they fly American. Hello. Hello. How are you? Thanks for being on board. The back galley. Very nice, very nice. Funky texture there on the floor, isn't it? Sun coming in there just right or something? It's a little odd. Have to investigate that a little bit. Seatbacks look really nice. Wish they had an image on them like the Southwest ones do. The Southwest version of this aircraft. That'd be really cool. Oh, see, they got a nice little movie going in first class. I guess everybody else doesn't get a cool little movie. Guess the answer's sit in first class if you want a movie, huh? Come back inside, we'll get the doors shut. Can't have anybody attacking the pilot while he's flying. Excellent. FS Cloud, I'm sorry, Project Fly says we have about 40 minutes remaining, 39 minutes, something like that. It would actually help if I spelled route right, wouldn't it? Alright, so the route's not popping up, so I'm going to work on that while we're sitting here flying. We've got plenty of time. I want to figure out why that stuff's not coming up. Okay, let's see if that fixed it. It does say it may take some time. We'll give it a shot. If not, we'll check back in a minute, see if I fixed that. Still doesn't want to pop up right. It's interesting. We'll have to do a little more research, figure out why the Project Flybot doesn't seem to be working. Pop it back outside while I play with this. And we're not just staring at a cockpit the whole time. We are getting over a little bit of the rolly mountains, not really mountains, but the rolly hills of southern Missouri, northern Arkansas here. Ortho looks really good. I'm really glad I updated this ortho. Fork Boys ortho. There's the wispy clouds that were showing the rain on the radars on the way down. We'll see if we really run into those or not. Got it. Alright, I know why it's not working. Okay, that's something we'll have to work on. No problem. But now I know why. Perfect. So I can work on that later. Excellent. Alright, so we have crossed into Arkansas. We're getting ready to, we're actually going to pass right over Fort Smith shortly. strange line up there for no reason on the top of the clouds. Definitely need to get in there and change this ULA script to the newest one to make sure that kind of stuff isn't happening. I think some of that's a combination of the old script with the new Zibo version. I think these particle effects can be changed as well, but I haven't played with enough of the settings yet to confirm that. So that's something else we'll have to work on. Just had a little bit of a scenery load there. A little bit of a skip. No big deal. So now it's gone. Yeah, we'll have to figure out why it's doing this, some of this. Top ascent looks like it's right around 160 miles out or so. So, we're on track, on schedule. It's looking good. It's looking good. Definitely starting to run into that little bit of cloud cover. So it's exactly what I thought. A little bit of wispy clouds, probably knocking in a few showers here and there. Ortho still looks really good. Really happy with the ortho. Just kind of playing with it, watching the frames. See if we start dropping frames or if we get a loss of our frame rate. So far things look good. Do appreciate everybody being here. Appreciate you watching today. If you haven't done so, please do make sure you hit that follow button. Go over to my YouTube channel. It's Holiday Captain, Holiday CPT. It's abbreviated. You'll find some other videos from our previous flights there. I post all my flights, both on YouTube and on Twitch. If you're over on YouTube, please make sure you hit that subscribe. That way I can continue to grow that and get more people interested in what we do here. Flight Sim community is a nice, tight community, and I'd love to have more people enjoying this along with me. Fort Smith directly there below us that we're getting ready to pass over right here in this giant river bend. Fort Smith, Arkansas. As we cross over Fort Smith, we will go into eastern Oklahoma, right there. And shortly thereafter, Texas. Yeah, this is that ULA script. I definitely need to get that updated to the newest ULA. So it doesn't do it out the window, it's just that particular angle. That angle there too. Need to fix that. Don't want things looking like crap like that. Guy that writes that is Captain K-Man. If you're interested in his ULO script, he does have a Discord. He does make it publicly available to anybody that wants to copy his script. It is a personal script that he made, may or may not fit your situation, depending on if you like what you see. Personally, I do like it. I think it looks good. I just think that these little errors here are because I'm running his old version, and I literally updated to the newest 11.3 X-Plane about 6 hours ago, 7 hours ago. We're going ahead and we will check our progress here. I want to see how far exactly the top of the descent is. Top of the descent's coming up in 110 nautical miles. Okay. And it should be at 2203, so in about 14 minutes. About 14 minutes we should be at the top of descent. As we get into Dallas here. Big airport, DFW is. Oh my goodness. I think we're about to leave the ortho. There must be a separate ortho over here. Nope. That's the Oklahoma border. So we're switching from the Midwest ortho to the Texas, East Texas ortho. And it looks like there's some differences in the two. Well, that kind of sucks. You can definitely see a difference in the two. This, because what you see below us is not the generic scenery. It's definitely ortho. It's probably just an older ortho than the Texas scenery over here. Texas scenery, which includes part of Oklahoma. You can see all the new, what are these, oil fracking wells and things like that. Actually, let me check Fort Boy's thing. I don't know what Midwest actually covers. Let's go to the Ortho project. You know what? It may not cover part of this. We may have just gone through a couple different orthos, and that might be what the deal is. This may be generic scenery here, and now we're hitting some new ortho. Because what it looks like we downloaded, there is a little bit of some gaps there. I'll have to follow up and look at that. Most definitely. Well, if this is generic, well, that sucks. It doesn't look it, though. It looks like it's just old to me, personally. You can tell by the colors here. And it looks like this is probably just newer ortho. That's generic scenery. Yep, you can tell how everything's lined up perfectly in these rows all the way going out. That is a trademark of generic X-plane scenery. So there isn't any ortho here. I will have to find that. Okay. Now you know. Well, here comes the good ortho. It'll look great the rest of the flight. It actually didn't look too bad from this point of view, coming over these forests anyway, but I'll take the real ortho any day of the week. Looks so much better. The details are just ridiculous. Going to check the charts. We are on the arrival now. Excellent. Doesn't look like the arrival's to scale until we get to just, it looks like. This next waypoint is Pleasy. And that's only the second point in our arrival. We just passed RRNet. Actually, we just passed it. Yep. Because RRNet to Please is 27 miles. So, we started the arrival. Start to think about getting things set up here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to switch over real quick to the arrival ILS chart here. I'm going to start setting up all the radios that we need. Looks like the arrival ATIS is going to be 123.77. Apparently the closest we can get is 775. Click it. Hopefully we do pick up the ATIS. Don't know why I would do that. And it looks like our ILS is going to be 111.35, so we only have to change that one. That'll work out perfectly. Just have to do one click there. So the only thing that may be in question is the ATIS here. I'm going to look to see if there's an alternate frequency. Put you guys back out enjoying the view out the pilot's window here while I look for that. Definitely coming into the new ortho here. Should look really good for you guys. Beautiful. West Oklahoma. We'll know when we're crossing into Texas. We'll fly right over the Red River. It's the Red River because it's red from all this clay, where you see all this red down here below us in Oklahoma. That's what makes the Red River red. It's not really red, it's kind of a nasty, dirty brown, and it's full of mud and dirt and all kinds of stuff. And it forms a big chunk of the border between Oklahoma and Texas. It's actually coming up very quick. It's right off the nose here. Might actually be this river here. I'll know when we get a little closer. We're on the thinner part of the Red River. Further west, it's a little bit wider. Definitely easier to tell that you're flying over the Red River. Yep, that's the Red River. So we're about to cross from Oklahoma into Texas. At least I should be. I'm a little off, actually. May not be the Red River. I don't know. Red River does flow right through here somewhere. That actually may be the Red River there. This river coming into view, still off the nose a little bit. Yeah, that's actually the Red River there. This one right here, off the nose. Here comes our top of descent, about 30 miles. We'll go ahead and start setting some of the descent altitudes. I'm going to pull up the charts just to make sure what we hit. Looks like we turned it, what was it, pithy or something like that on our legs? Seaver, Tulsi, Bird, Covey, then we turn to nets. Okay, Covey is at 17,000. We'll go ahead and get 17,000 plugged in over there for Covey. Oh, a little bit too far off. Go ahead and set 17,000 for Covey. That'll be our turning point where we turn over to go to nets to hit the approach. So, very quickly we'll be hitting our approaches here. I want to thank you guys for spending the time with me today. If I don't get a chance to thank you in a little bit, it's going to get busy shortly, obviously, as we get close to the landing here. Here comes the Red River. Welcome to Texas. Loading up some scenery again. Might catch a little hitch here and there from that. Should hear the engine spool back any second as we roll over into that descent. Here comes the top of descent. We'll get the announcements ready. Once we roll over into the descent, let everybody know that we've gone into our descent. Then we'll be landing in DFW quickly. Thank you for flying American Airlines. It's been fun. Here goes the descent. Engines to spool back. What we'll do is we'll go ahead and go in here. I'm going to turn the volume down so we can really enjoy the sounds of the engine spooling and everything else. Good. Interesting. I hadn't seen that effect yet. Did I click the announcement or did I forget? There it goes.
Ladies and gentlemen, as you can see, we are descending. Seatbelt sign is on. If you happen to be up and about, please return your seat. Keep your seatbelt fastened for the remainder of the flight. On behalf of the flight crew, we appreciate you being with us today. Wish you a very safe and pleasant journey to your final destination. Hope to see you back here with us soon. Thank you.
Alright, we'll go back into the cockpit. Let's go ahead and get the seatbelt sign back on for the remainder of the flight.
Please be seated and fasten your seatbelt.
It's pretty cool particle effects. Still, again, might be a little overdone. That might be part of my ULA script, so we'll update that, see if that fixes some of that. Still a bit much, I think. Alright, hopefully we'll get the ATIS here briefly soon, so we get the latest altimeter. Latest altimeter I have has DFW at 3003. We'll double check that real quick, see if that's changed at all. KDFW METAR. Yeah, the current altimeter is still showing 3003. We'll go ahead and get that ready. It's probably going to be pretty close to correct as we get in here to DFW. Might be off 1 or 2, but it'll be certainly close enough for what we need to do to set up if we cross through 18,000. Excellent, excellent, excellent. There's that Covey below 17. We're only about 20 miles from that. Says we need some drag. We'll pop out the air brakes just a little bit. Not a lot. Yeah, about half's probably going to be okay. Good view of our speed brakes there. We'll just keep monitoring that. It is slowing us, so that's fine. Alright, as we come into Dallas, we'll do an auto brake of 2. When we get to 10,000 feet, we'll check our performance data. We'll do a flaps 30 landing as we get down. Nets is going to be above 6,000. We'll go ahead and clear this bad boy all the way down to 6. Just so that it can fly the route we've asked it to since we modified that. Looking at the charts, going back to the charts. Looks like the approach actually starts at B Acre, or B Baker. Might be B Baker. Yeah, B Baker right here is the actual start of the approach. That's when we'll grab the actual approach switch. Before that, basically we start nets at 7, or I'm sorry, nets at 6, Garza at 5, Yulta at 3, B Baker at 2200. So we'll go ahead and actually clear this all the way down to 2200. We'll probably grab the approach just before we get to B Baker. 3004 for the altimeter. Perfect. We're pretty much set. Winds are light and variable, so it's trying to say that they're landing the southern runways to the north, the 35s. Yeah, 3131. No. We're not going to land cross runways when the winds are light and variable. It makes no sense whatsoever. We will continue to our 17 right approach. 17 right probably is actually a departure runway. Should actually be probably just arriving on 17 center. Knowing what I know about DFW. But who cares? There's no other planes out here to be in our way, so I'm not too worried about it. Let's go ahead and kill that speed brake. We definitely got below our speeds that we needed to meet. Get back outside. We got the descent set up nicely. We don't need to just sit in the cockpit. We can continue to enjoy the ortho as we fly over North Texas as we start coming in towards Dallas. We're about to hit Covey. We're about at Birdie. It's about 5 more miles, then we'll make that hard right turn from Covey over to Nets. There's 18,000. Let's get the pressure dialed in. We'll speed up our descent just a little bit because of that. No big deal. We'll go ahead and tell it that it can bank at 30. It's not going to do it yet because we're still above 10,000. That's a setting in the computer. It won't do it above 10. When we get to Nets, we will notify the crew that we are on that final approach so that they can finish getting set up with what they need to do. Alright, here we go over to Nets. She's descending hard now. We will actually put out a ton of drag here. Wow, did she nose over. We got to get down to 6,000. That's why I don't think it quite set the descent path right. That's alright. We're going to drag the crap out of it. No big deal. We're getting back on the descent path very quickly. We're only 1,400 above it. 13. Once that comes back in, this descent rate won't be 4,000 and we will slow quite a bit. We'll leave the drag out just to make sure that happens. Alright, we're getting very close to 10,000, so I'm going to go ahead and turn off the music. As we continue to drag, we'll go ahead and get the landing lights turned on. We'll get the retractables on but not out. We'll go ahead and turn the landing lights on. Go ahead and flip the engines over to continuous for the rest of the flight. We'll give the crew that we're approaching the 10,000 foot warning there. Alright, leveling out a little bit as we catch the descent more properly now. Coming up to 10,000 feet, so we need to be below 250. So we'll continue to let the plane drag out and slow. we should be okay. We got 700 feet and we're not descending hard, so excuse me. We should make the 240 without any issues. Alright, altimeter 33004 is set up in there. Good. Continuing to slow. I know we need the drag. That's all fine. Getting ready to hit our final approach here. We will go ahead and grab our references. This may change a little bit, but not much. We're only about 20 to 30 miles from our actual landing. We're going to go flaps 30. Gives us a V speed of 148 on the approach with flaps 40. Double check it here. Flaps 30 at 148 on the reference. Very good. Let's go ahead and notify the crew that flying over North Dallas there. Get to see all that nice cityscape. We did get slow just in time. That works out perfectly. The engines will probably spool up just ever so slightly. Go ahead and drop the ATIS. We don't need it. We've got the altimeter. Just want to enjoy the scenery coming in over Dallas. I've not flown into DFW but one time. I usually use Love Field because I like to fly southwest. So I actually have only done this approach about once. So it's going to be a good time. We're gonna have a lot of fun flying this approach. I think, and I hope you think so too. Looks like we've actually already started picking up the ILS. Alright. When we get to nets, we're about 20 miles out. What we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and zoom in a little bit. When we get to about 5 miles from nets, we're probably going to start making the turn. So we're going to go ahead and go flaps 1 as we get prepared for this arrival. We're going to let the plane basically slow naturally, kind of drifting on its own down to that first speed. Yep, because there goes the rollover, and we're going to probably speed up just a little bit. Go ahead and go flaps 2 with that. We'll really bleed off some speed as we make the turn in and drop the gear. 21 miles from our runway touchdown here. Retractables can go all the way on now. There's the retractables underneath. Good. Excellent. There's the turn at nets as we turn over here onto the approach. 20 miles out. Flying over Lake Grapevine right now. That's the big lake here below us. If you've ever flown into Dallas from the north, you can't miss it. Huge lake. Nice lake. And there's the airport actually just off in front of us. We'll see it as we go back into the cockpit as we come out of this turn here. Alright. We have to be above 5,000 at Garza. We should be okay there. We're only about a mile from it. Airport's right in front of us. Airport is in sight. If you don't see it, here it is here. There's the terminals there. This will be our runway here, 17 right. Okay, let's go ahead and go flaps 5. Just really start letting the plane slow down. We're only about 15 miles from the airport now. B Baker, again, is where we're going to grab the approach. We'll probably grab it right around the 2,500 foot mark. So again, not forcing the plane to slow, just kind of want to drag out. And that's what flaps are. We're inducing drag, gaining lift, but we want it to drag. We want it to naturally kind of slow on its own. We're off the ILS just a little bit. We're going to just let it continue to fly itself. We'll go gear down right around... I like to drop the gear around to 8 miles. That's when I like to do it. The plane will probably get loud here in a second. I have the settings turned up pretty good for the wind effects. I like it, so I'm not really going to play with it for everybody else. And this is what I'm talking about. I think the effects are just a little too much. It's not that humid out. We should not have that much vapor coming off the wings and winglets. It just shouldn't. But that's why it's a beta. Things aren't necessarily going to be perfect. But it's just, personally, I find it to be a bit much. And again, that could be the ULA script I'm running, so I'll have to play with that too. Alright, about 8.5 miles out, coming close to B Baker. So we're at 8 miles. Here's B Baker. We'll go ahead and grab the approach. The approach has been caught. We'll go ahead and set 148, which is our approach speed for flaps 40, and continue to let the aircraft slow. We're 7.5 miles. We'll go ahead and go gear down, and we will go flaps 10. All right, gear down. We got 3 green, flaps 15. Check up top. Everything is indicating that the flaps are coming down right. Go ahead and go flaps 25. And flaps 30. Fully configured now. The engines will spool up to maintain the 148, 6 miles from the airport. As I said, it's much louder now. You can probably just hear me over the sound of the wind cutting across there.
1,000 feet, stabilized, Mr. Birch, altitude set.
It is set. So we'll get ready to disconnect the autopilot here so that I can take over the aircraft. There is definitely very little wind here. Okay, I'm going to take over my aircraft. Nose drop just a little bit. We'll just give it a little bit of back pressure, let that level out just a little bit more. My throttles as well. Thank you. We drifted a little low. It's coming back in though. There's the marks right there. Looking good.
50, 40, 30, 20, 10.
Flared it a little too much. We're going to let it settle in here. Good. Reversers. Flared it a little too much. A little bit of an overflare. Not a huge deal. Wasn't a whole lot. Just enough to make it a little bad. 80 knots, stow the reversers. I actually think we're going to manually brake at this point. We're going to take this first high speed. Speed brakes come in, flaps come all the way up. We're going to take this high speed right here to the right. Excellent. A little bit more brake, a little bit more brake. A little bit quick. Keep slowing. Get the runway, or the landing lights off. Didn't quite want to slow down that much. It's okay, though. And we will go ahead and fire up the APU. 1001, 1002, 1003 release. Engines can come back to auto, and the position light can come back over to steady. Let's see. Looks like we're at taxiway Echo Lima here, so we're going to make a right turn onto Echo Lima, cut across, and I think we'll just park here at Terminal Charlie, which is the middle terminal. It's actually just off our right wing here as we come across. So we're actually going to taxi back to that terminal right there. This is not a pay-where scenery or anything like that, so it's not going to be good quality or anything. And we're also not going to have auto gate or anything fancy like that as we pull in. But that's okay. Let's go ahead and get the flight director left side and right side turned off. Yeah, a little bit of an overflare. A little disappointed in that. Not a horrible landing. Definitely an acceptable landing by all standards. For sure. Just flared a little too much there at the end. The nose was plenty up. Should have probably just let it do its thing. May have cut the engines just a little too soon as well. I think I cut them because we were floating. Because of the overflare. And that causes us to come in a little harder than maybe I wanted us to. But it's okay. You're not going to have the best landing every time. So let's take a look at what parking is free over here. Oh, off that line just a little bit. Let's come right. Oh, let's just go right here. We'll take this parking. Yeah, we'll take the one right here coming up in front of us. This'll work. Taxi light can come off as we pull in here. APU power is available when we get to the gate. Excellent. Come back to the right just a little bit. Wish I had some auto gate here. I need to pick up a good DFW. Right in the middle. Excellent. Alright. Come back in. Let's set the parking brake. Engine 1 come off. Engine 2 come off. Come back up top. Let's get over on the APU power. APU bleed can come on. Lights can come off. Anti-collision light come off. The seatbelt sign can come off. Everything looks good there. Yaw damper come off. Heat, window heat, and pitot heat, probe heats can come off. Electrical pumps can come off. And we only need one fuel pump running to power the APU. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Dallas-Fort Worth. I hope you enjoyed the flight. We'll let everything kind of spool down for a second. Close out from Project Fly and from FS Cloud. And then we will watch a replay or two. Just to kind of critique the landing from the outside as well. So we'll go ahead and disconnect from FS Cloud. Complete the flight on Project Fly there. Good, good, good. We don't need any more charts. We're good there. All right. Let's go ahead and go up top here. We'll toggle replay mode. Back up just a little bit. Might be a little too far. We don't want to... Maybe not that much. We don't want to sit here forever, right? Right about there should work. So first view, what we'll do is we'll catch it from the outside here as we were coming in. Really smooth, really stable. Like I said, I think we just over-flared it a little bit when we did. We pulled the power. I think it just kind of caused it to sink in a little too much right at the end. But we'll see it here for sure. See, we're right on the money. We should have just continued it. Right there. Right there's where we over-flared it. It kind of stopped our descent completely, and then we kind of, yeah, just pressed into the ground just a little bit. Alright. Well, we've critiqued it. We know what it looks like. Let's just enjoy the views a couple more times. We'll do this from the passenger point of view off that left wing. Hop outside, we'll catch a runway view. Texaco guy out here doing some plane spotting. Hope he's enjoying his day. Right there, just a little too much. Not a bad landing, though. Don't get me wrong. It was a good landing. Tried to get it back there down the center of the runway. Particle effects just kicked in there pretty good. Kind of interesting. All right, we'll do one more view. Do that from the tower. I always enjoy the tower views. So back that up a little bit for the tower. All right. So we're going to exit replay mode. Back here at the terminal. Ladies and gentlemen, that'll be it for today. Only one flight today. I appreciate everybody being here. Again, please, if you haven't done so already, smash down that follow button. If you're on YouTube watching this video later on, please hit that subscribe button so that you get notified when there's any new videos. I would appreciate it as we continue to try to grow the channel. I had a good time today. Hopefully you enjoyed a little bit of the music. We'll try to keep incorporating that as I find more and more things. Again, cameras coming soon. If you didn't see the start of this stream, we're working on getting a camera set up. And I appreciate y'all being here. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to kick you over to a friend of mine. His name's Captain K-Man. We're going to just host him for a little bit. And I hope you guys have